bringing back the trains or turning it into a trail. That is the common argument we see about how to reuse abandoned rail corridors. But here's the thing. It can be both. The first one is Maryland's Purple Line and the Capitol Crescent Trail. The Maryland Purple Line is a 16.2-mile long, 21-station light rail line from Bethesda to New Carrollton. This corridor was originally the CSX Georgetown branch. It was abandoned in 1985. Eventually, the right-of-way was turned into the Capitol Crescent Trail and the Georgetown Branch Trail in the 1990s. In the 2000s, the light rail plan was revised and being pushed, and finally in 2017, light rail line broke ground. So the light rail line had to use a section of the trail between Bethesda and Silver Spring, and the trail was rebuilt along the tracks. And as you may expect, since they had to rip off the trail to build the rail and then rebuild the trail, this project faced a lot of opposition and pushback from the community and even some lawsuits. So I guess the lesson here is, if it's like a rail and trail or rail and park project, build them together. Because once you put a trail or park there, and the community falls in love with it, it will be hard to build a rail. Or like in some cases, you can build a rail first and then like leave space to add a trail alongside it. That sometimes work, but if it's the opposite, if you put the trail or park first and then add a rail later, it's more difficult and challenging, and people will be mad about it. And speaking of one that built the rail first and then added the trail later, we are going to California and looking at the SMART, or the Sonoma Marine Area Rail Transit, which is a 48 miles long, 14-station commuter rail line in North Bay across from San Francisco. And it was built on the former Northwestern Pacific Railroad right-of-way, which ended passenger service in 1958. And the SMART commuter rail line opened in 2017 on that right-of-way and was extended a few times in the following years and decades. And for the trail part, it was part of the SMART rail plan from the start, but due to the Great Recession in the late 2000s, the trail was kind of delayed. And as of now, as of me recording this video based on SMART website, there's 29 miles of bike and pedestrian pathways built, and it's all along the SMART commuter rail line. The next one we want to look at is Boston's Southwest Corridor. So the Boston Southwest Corridor is a 52-acre linear park and stretched for 4.1 miles, and the Amtrak's Northeast Corridor and MTA's Orange Line also runs alongside that park. The corridor was first built in 1831 as the Boston and Providence Railroad. So in 1948, they proposed a highway called the Southwest Highway, which will be 8 lanes and will use this corridor. And it was pushed back by nearby communities. And if you know about the history of highways, interstate highways in US in the 1950s, you know that communities fight against those highways all across the country. Luckily, Boston residents that lived along this corridor stopped this from happening, and this highway plan was cut in the 1970s. So after the highway was cut, since the highway had a envision of a highway median to build for transit, but since the highway didn't happen, but they still had that median, so they used that median and that space that was allocated for the highway to build the MTA Orange Line, and the Amtrak's Northeast Corridor was also integrated into that space. And then they used the space around it, and they used that space to build a park and also trails. In my opinion, Boston's Southwest Corridor is literally a living example of what rails, trails, and green space designed together can look like. Okay, so the next one on this list is actually one that I found the most interested and most interesting, and it is the Miami UnderLine. So the ones that we talked about before is like like trails or park next to the tracks or like above the tracks or something like that. But Miami UnderLine is kind of different because it's a trail and park space built under the tracks. That's why it's called the UnderLine, and it's built under the Miami's Metro Rail, to be exact. So the story starts when this was the Florida East Coast Railway in the 1890s, and in the 1970s, this section of the right-of-way was sold to the county, which is Miami-Dade County, and they used this right-of-way to construct the Metro Rail, but the Metro Rail was constructed on this right-of-way but was elevated. So the space under it was left vacant. Since the city and the county own that, people have been pushing to turn that into a trail or a park space, and that's exactly what happened. So UnderLine reused that surface under the Metro Rail to build trails and park space, and their vision is to stretch for 10 miles and creating 120 acres of public space. They currently completed phase 1 and phase 2, and they're currently working on phase 3, which is the longest section, 7.36 miles, and it's going to be completed actually this year in 2026. Fourth Place, which is a fellow urbanist YouTuber, made a fantastic video about this, and I will link it up here. Okay, before we get to the last Rails with Trails project, I have some honorable mentions. And the first one is the Northern Valley Trail and the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail extension in New Jersey. So currently the planned trail and light rail extension does not interfere with each other. They use a different section of the CSX Northern Branch right-of-way. They want to extend the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail north to Englewood, and the Northern Valley Trail will be north of Englewood, so they do not share any right-of-way. But under my vision, I want to extend the Northern Valley Trail south past Englewood and share that section with the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail in that same right-of-way. And I think that would be really interesting to make that a Rails with Trails project. Okay, so the next honorable mention is the Long Island North Shore Trail in New York. And to put it simple, this section was part of the Wading River branch, which is part of the Long Island Railroad from Port Jefferson to Wading River. And in the 1930s, the terminal was cut back to Port Jefferson, so that section was abandoned, and they later turned it into the North Shore Trail. However, I think this is a lost opportunity because that section, from what I know, is really the roads that parallel that section is really congested, and by extending the Port Jefferson branch of the Long Island Railroad back to Wading River along that right away, we can ease some of that congestion. The next honorable mention is an interesting one, and it is the BeltLine in Atlanta, Georgia. And I already made a video about this before, and you can check it out after this one. But to put it simple, in the late 1990s, it was proposed by a Georgia Tech student to use a freight rail loop around Atlanta to build a light rail line or like a rail line with trails and park space along it. However, the city thought the rail was kind of expensive, and they said, "Oh, we'll build the trails and parks first," and that became the BeltLine. And they kind of left space for the rail to be added later, but because, like I mentioned before, if you put the trails and parks first, it makes it harder to add the rail because people are already loving that space and they do not want to give up any of that space to build a rail. And now on to our final Rails with Trails project, which is QueensLink. And the QueensLink is a plan to reactivate the Rockaway Beach branch of the Long Island Railroad, which is a abandoned railroad that first opened in 1880, and during the 1950s, because of a fire, the southern section of that line was abandoned, and it was a section south of Ozone Park that was abandoned and was bought by the city, and the city converted it into a subway line, which is the modern day A train. The section north of Ozone Park continued for a few years, but it didn't get a lot of ridership, and it was closed in 1962, and it's just sat there abandoned since then for almost 60 years. And the plan to reactivate that, which is the QueensLink plan, will reactivate it as a subway line, which they propose the M train to be sent down it from Queens Boulevard line. It will also include 33 acres of park space and trails along the way. And this has been a really popular plan because it includes both rails and trails and also park space. So it made it really popular. However, the elephant in the room is another competing plan called the Queens Way, which proposed to build only the park and had no provisions of the rail integration at all. Just like the BeltLine, which said, "Oh, we can put a rail later," and look at what happened to the BeltLine. You can see that if we build a Queensway now, it will be really hard to build the rail in the future. And yeah, that gives you the Rails with Trails projects in the US.